Okay. This is part 2 of the acceleration lesson. We were introduced with 5 formulas, the definition of acceleration, and the other 3, it's only 4 formulas, sorry, from last part. Now, what have we learned, or what can you observe from this? Well, we've learned that acceleration is defined as the rate at which velocity changes. So there's our definition of acceleration. Okay? If you've been observant with these 4 formulas, there are 5, that's why I keep on coming back to 5. There are 5 kinematic quantities. There is acceleration, final velocity, initial velocity, displacement, and time. And if we look at each of these equations down below, none of them have 5, but they all have 4. They all have 4 of these quantities. Okay? So that means 1 is missing in each one. So in the equation number 2, in this one I've circled here, what's missing? There is no d. So there is no d in there. In this equation, which is equation number 3, there is no time. In this equation, there is no final velocity. And this equation, there is no acceleration. Is it important to note which quantity is not in the formula? Yes. That is the most important part, because we need to decide which formula to use. And this is the lesson that makes us determine which formula to use. Last part 1, I gave you the formulas to use. So these are the 8 steps. Now someone's going to say, can I use this on a formula sheet? You're going to learn these 8 steps, and within 2 or 3 times, you won't even look at these steps anymore. It's like tying your shoes. Or maybe even easier, putting on underwear and pants. You know what direction and order that you put them in. And if not, you make the mistake once or twice, and then you stop doing it that way. So here it is, the steps. Read the question and write out the givens. We've been doing that. Determine if it's a constant velocity, which it isn't so far because we're all in acceleration, which is chapter 1. That's pretty easy. Put a question mark in for what you're asked to find. And then choose your formula by knowing what you don't have, because you will have written out 3 of the givens in a question mark for the 4th. What you haven't talked about will be the 5th, and that's how you choose your formula. Write out the formula, put all the givens in, and don't have to put and make sure they're in the correct units. Write out the formula, solve, and box your answer. Let's turn on and over and let's try it. A car accelerates from 20 meters per second to 26 meters per second in 5 seconds. How far does the car travel in that time? Okay, so it's going from, to, and we have a time. So the givens are, initial speed is 20 meters per second. Make sure you put the units down in this time at this point. Vf is equal to 26 meters per second. And time is equal to 5. And it's asked for how far does it travel. What of the 5 kinematic properties are not here? There is no acceleration. So we go back to our formula sheet. Which one doesn't have acceleration? This one. D equals Vi plus Vf over 2 times time. So that's how we choose the formula. D equals Vi plus Vf over 2 times the change in time. And now we're back to where lesson part 1 was, where we now start plugging in the numbers. Now before I proceed with it, check to see if all the units are the same. Like we don't want kilometers per hour and time of seconds. right? We want units of hours and kilometers per hour, but most likely we'll bring everything down to meters per second. Okay? And then just go ahead and solve it. And that's how you do it. So try that out. So there's the answer for number 1. Try out number 2 now. These are the givens for number 2. Remember to pause your video. This is number 2, the answer. Try number 3. So in number 3, which variable is not given and asked for? The distance or displacement. So the formula that we use is VF equals VI plus AT. That's a good version of it. There's the answer for number 3. Please go ahead and pause the video after you finish number 4. And there is number 4 for you. Thanks for following through. If you have any questions, just replay the video. Good luck on the super bonus.